Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Arise and shine. Good morning and happy new and prosperous month to you, esteemed viewers across the globe. It's the new day, the first day of the last month, 1/12/2023. Good to know that you are there from January till now. It's a good thing to know that throughout the year you are still here with us on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times DTT, and also live on our YouTube channel, our Western Spring Television. Of course, from January till now, and of course beyond, I will remain Femi Ojo. Good morning, Evelyn. Good morning.
Good morning, Femi. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful month, and it's the end of the week. I am super happy.
Yeah.
You know how I am with Fridays. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. We are in that month that, you know, is the last month of the year, and it launches us into Hamilton. Now we have, this is the time for you to actually get those thick clothes, get your Vaseline, and do what you can to stay healthy. My name is Evelyn Ohiola. Welcome to the last edition of Morning Spring for the week, and the first for the month of December.
Of course, the first for the month of December. On the program, as usual, we look at the headlines, and at the other side of that, we then get talky, and that is what we shall be doing right now. That will be after this break. Stay with us. All right, here we go on the headline segment for today, and of course, for the start of the new month. And of course, we are joined by Mr. Ladi Jalabi. Good morning.
Morning, Femi.
Happy new month to you.
It's a pleasure to see you. Last time I saw you.
It's been long.
To see
Yeah.
you again, to see your handsome face.
Yeah, thank you.
And to the beautiful Evelyn.
Thank you, Ladeji.
I know you are you are in a relaxed mood already.
Of
It's
course.
Friday and
it's December. We're looking forward
Is
to.
there anyone there for tomorrow that I can tag along?
No, not yet.
Okay.
All right, to the headlines right now. How federal government will tackle budget 2024 deficit, taking it from the front page of The Nation, starting with The Nation for today. How federal government will tackle budget 2024 deficit by Edun. All right, and away from that, Lagos, Abuja demolitions. Ohanaeze kicks. This is one thing that has been generating ripples, really talking about demolition going on, and you know, some persons or some interest thinking it's against some group of people. But then Ohanaeze is said to be kicking today, right now, and away from that, medical dental council will help to address doctors' exit. Okay, that's the JAPA thing. All right, and you can see the picture of the president, I think, with the king of England thereabout, and Edo PDP governorship primary process in shaky start. All right, many things to really look into there. Here, UK willing to partner Nigeria on. Okay, I think that's a bit tiny now. But Ladeji, let me take you up here. How federal government will tackle budget 2024 deficit, and that's coming from the Honorable Minister for Finance and the Coordinating Minister for Economy. And then we had the budget spoken about on this program, and then many things. The deficit, the revenue projection, 18 million. The budget is 27.5 trillion naira, and then the projection for revenue is 18. And then, so how about the rest? You know, and here we are. While Edu is talking, it's his business, isn't it?
Of course, yes. It is his business. His ministry handles how do we get the deficit for our budget. We have about 9 trillion deficit now to get to where we are going. Now, apparently, I know we'll still go borrowing. That has always been our saving grace all year long. I know we'll definitely go and borrow. And again, we hope that we can also see how we can generate more revenue from home. How well can we do more production? My only fear, Femi, is our projection of 1.7 million barrel per day. In crude oil production. I hope we can sustain this. Years after years, we've projected, okay, we are going to do 1 million, we're going to do 1.2, we're going to do 1.5. But at the time, we discovered we were even doing less than 1 million barrel per day. So I hope we can stick to that, because if we cannot stick to 1.7 million barrel per day, that means the revenue that we are looking at, that we are talking about, we have some 19 trillion on ground, would also go down. That means we have more deficit, and that means we may need to, go more borrowing.
We don't even have that 18 million on ground.
No,
it's a revenue projection.
It's a projection. Now, what I'm saying again is one of those areas where we said we are going to get the money is through our oil production.
Majorly.
We are projecting that we produce 1.7 million. Over the years, have we been able to produce what we said we are going to produce? If we cannot, it means we have more deficit. We have to go borrowing again.
All right, that will be all from the front page of The Nation.
We head to the Punch newspaper for this morning. Let's check out stories making waves on the Punch newspaper. New wage begins April. FG votes 24 trillion naira for salaries. Labour FG begin talks. The current wage regime expires March ending, says Minister. FG laments fiscal deficits. Reps condemn high MDA salaries. Demand ICPC probe. COP28, Tinubu meets King Charles III. Nigeria, others eye $261 billion fund. And we have the picture of Mr. President and the monarch of the United Kingdom there, King Charles III. Jakba FG urges varsities to produce more doctors. Kwara monarch, 2 others bag life jail for kidnapping. Assembly drops suit against Ayedatiwa. Exco embraces peers. We move to the top of the front page of the Punch newspaper for this morning. CBN fund. Senate threatens to order gas companies probe. Shaibu free to contest. Edo governor says Obaseki. And FG pays 585 million naira fines. Begins nationwide prisoners release. These are stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Ladeji Jakba, FG urges varsities to produce more doctors. Is that the solution?
Well, that is, I think we just want to pick, the FG is not really talking through to what really the problem is. How well do we take care of our medical doctors here? We've heard stories of even doctors in Rwanda earning more than the doctors we have in Nigeria, and the little ones we have, because we do not take care of them. We care less about them. They will apparently want to go to where there is a better life. So number one thing is the admission quota for universities. What do we have? Medicine is not just a course that you just pump people into. Because even in the universities, what are the facilities available to train these people? So the little one you have, you see some schools, they cannot admit more than 50 medical students per year. Now, so with the facility they have, you want them to go and admit 200. It means, what are you doing to increase the facility there? What are you, even the lecturers to train them? How many do you have on campus? So it is not just about admitting more medical students. It is about what the government has put in place to make schooling comfortable and conducive for all students, irrespective of the courses they are doing. You see, issues with, non-availability of lecturers. See a lot of lecturers come, from other schools as a borrowed lecturer and all. So the federal government just need to speak to issues and speak to the issues in reality, get more lecturers, have more facilities in school, get more medical students into schools, train them very well, then let us learn to take care of our workforce. I'm sorry to say this, but an honorable that cannot even boast of a university certificate is earning way more than teachers, doctors, journalists, and all. These are people that are professionals and are doing well. They are the people running the society. But less than 1% of the total society, they are earning fat. And you're asking these people not to move. There is no way about it. Prayer cannot solve it. They will keep moving, not until we do the needful.
All right, thank you, Ladiji. That will be all for the Punch newspaper.
All right. By the way, it's quite interesting for the government to say, you know what, for the people that are leaving, that are jackpotting, the school should produce more.
Yeah.
So
if they produce more, what will stop them?
Then they keep leaving more.
Apparently they will go.
Producing, Interesting one. So the Guardian right now, the front page of the Guardian. The International Day, by the way, today is World AIDS Day, 1st of December of every year. And amid ravaging scourge, HIV cure, vaccine still elusive, 42 years on. By the way, it seems the topic of HIV is no more on the radar. Like the thing is no more happening because we've had several other more
deadly diseases, life-threatening diseases
appear on the radar, and then I'm not sure the last time I had anything about HIV, and it's not because it has gone away. But then, International Day, amid ravaging scourge, HIV cure, vaccine still elusive, 42 years on. And 1.9 million Nigerians living with HIV/AIDS as of 2022, right? That's over 1% of the population. The national average mother-to-child transmission rate of 22% is driven by a large number of states with transmission rate above. The stats and the figures are there on the front page of the Guardian, talking about what age day for today. So the scourge is real. It's still here. It has gone nowhere. Let's be careful and behave responsibly, sexually speaking. Nigeria missing as HIV prevention product for women arrives 11 African nations. And reps knock oil operator over letdown of host communities. Lagos Assembly takes inventory of failed state roads. National Assembly begins debate on 2024 budget despite debt servicing concerns. And 135 billion naira intervention funds. Senate may alert anti-graft agencies on recovery. May alert anti-graft agencies on recovery. And UN leaders call for action, higher ambition at COP28, as COP28 opens in Dubai, talking about climate-related conversation. That is what it is. So, Ladiji here, let me take you up on these. 135 billion intervention funds. Senate may alert anti-graft agencies on recovery.
It is a Senate may alert.
That's what's written.
That's the word, may. It shows we are still not serious. We want to fight corruption. We want to fight diversion of public funds. And we are talking about may. If a fund has been released for a particular project and the project has not been carried out, the honorable thing to do is to refund the money back to the government coffers. But what we've seen over the years is, people spending government money. In fact, you see many of them say it's a national cake. Let me just...
This one is even intervention funds.
Intervention funds.
5 billion.
That's what we're talking about. We have all these series of names we give to intervention funds. Yeah. Even in the education, you have TET fund, you have all these fund, and you discover that in a particular university, in 4 years that you spend there, you may not see one project carried out with TET fund money. And every year, money goes out into these funds. Now, so I don't know why the Senate is saying me. I think the right word they should use is, we are going to look into this, because they also have, a constitutional right to check as this money be spent very well, the way they were meant to be spent. So they have a constitutional right to check. And if anybody is found guilty, please probe them, collect our monies back. All the money we are borrowing, if we are judiciously using, you know,
once we have.
Like people jokingly say, our father in heaven, late General Abacha, the moment he shakes his body, we see more funds. But every now and then we get his fund. 2 months later, we want to go and borrow again. What are we using those funds for?
All right.
If we can concentrate those funds on serious projects, Femi, we will borrow less.
All right, that will be all from the front page of The Guardian.
Very quickly, let's take on Delhi Independent newspaper for this morning. Lagos demolition, Ohanaeze insists state government must compensate victims. Senate reps open debate on 2024 budget, insist on implementation. Get details on page 6. Plan for integrated national electricity policy underway. Kogi Guba poll, security operatives take over INEC office in Lokoja. COP28 countries agree on a loss damage fund. Appeal court dismisses suit seeking impeachment of Ondo deputy governor. And issue executive order for state, local government police. Afenifere tells Tinubu, we won't tolerate sabotage of drug war. Marwa warns. That's on page 8 of Daily Independent newspaper this morning. And Senate threatens to involve anti-graft agencies to recover 135 billion naira intervention fund. Ladiji, very quickly now. Issue executive order for state, LG police. Afenifere tells Tinubu this is like the optimum time that Afenifere, Ohanaeze, and some other stakeholders have called on President Bola Tinubu to implement or to, issue executive order for the creation of state police and local government police. What's your take on this?
Well, I think we are more than due for it. Yes, a lot of people have raised the fears that what would become of the maybe political office holders using them against oppositions. But even the federal police that we have today, can we say they are all clean and clean? But I think the gain we would have with the community policing would be greater than the negatives of it, which would be that, you know, it will be people manning their own security themselves. So it means somebody that understands the environment, somebody that knows what, you know, the terrain would be the one to take charge of their own security. So I feel it's a way to go. We have less than, I'm not sure we have up to 500,000 policemen in Nigeria today. And we want them to police over 200 million people. As we have
the other day, the statistics given is that one policeman is to 517 Nigerians.
That's even if you have not taken out those ones behind the VIPs. You know, you see people that you expected. You see numbers of police behind unnecessary people. Let me put it that way. I know. So you can imagine such a thing. So I feel, for me personally, I feel we are more than ripe for this. All we just need to do is to look at, a recruitment process. Even for the federal police, the way we recruit them. How do we recruit? Our politicians want to infiltrate everywhere with their own people. So we just need to look at our recruitment process and make sure that we recruit the right guys into our policing system. For me, just let's put it at that. We are ripe for it.
All right, thank you so much, Ladiji. That will be all for Daily Independent.
Yeah, and that's the way we pull the brakes this morning. Thank you, Ladiji, for being part of the program as well, as usual. It's
always a pleasure to be here.
And of course, I'll call you if I have anyone back.
Apparently, you have my digits.
All right, this is the first part of the program. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about youth vices, or better say youthful vices, many things that the young people are doing these days that appears to be robbing them of their essence, their purpose. You know, it appears like there is this thing, and we'll look into many of those things. Just sit and relax. We'll be back. All right, you're welcome back. And the conversation this morning, it's about youthful vices and what are they, some of those social vices that includes but not limited to courtesan, you know, drug abuse, prostitution, indecent dressing, cybercrime, bribery, kidnapping, examination malpractice, many things, gambling, betting. And so we'll be narrowing down on just because this is one topic talking about the youth vices that one cannot exhaust in a program, just an hour or two, by the way. So we just narrowed down on one or two of those indices that makes up these youthful vices. So we're going to be talking about drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and especially this insane the sports betting, really, and the effect, the adverse effect is having, especially when it gets to the addiction level, and then it appears that many persons have lost their purpose, their essence to just these things. And then we are being joined right now for the conversation by Mr. Tunde Omole. Tunde Omole is the Executive President of Garnet Youth Development Foundation. And Mr. Omole, good morning.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here.
Good to have you here.
Yes.
And happy New Month to you as well.
Yeah, I wish you the same.
All right. And of course, virtually, we are being joined by Sam Adedeji. Sam Adedeji is an author, he is a life coach, and of course, a human capacity builder. And he joins us from the beautiful city of Elisha here in Osun State. Good morning, Mr. Sam. Okay, can you please unmute your microphone? Can you please unmute your microphone?
Good morning, Mr. Femi Ojo. Good morning to you.
All right, thank you for joining us. You are welcome to Morning Spring on Western Spring Television.
Thank you so much for having me with you guys.
Yes, let's take it off from Mr. Omole here. When we talk about youth vices or youthful vices, of course, we have laid a context of what we are talking about. But then you are somebody who works with the youth passionately. You work with them, you live among them, you work for them. So around here, let's even put Osun State as a template. What are those issues that you feel are rampant with the Osun youth and that you could term as vices?
All right, thank you. Good morning, viewers at home. I really want to appreciate this rare opportunity given unto me because this is actually my calling. This is where I've been working in the last 20-something years or thereabouts, and so far so good. To God be the glory. We have been able to make some sustainable impacts among young people. And to add to it, I was actually a recipient of Osun State Merit Award in Youth Development way back in 2007. So that being said, I believe strongly that I can tell us exhaustively what we have been going through in the last 2 decades among young people in the state of Osun or Osun State. Number one key thing is I realized that is actually rampant, that is out of all devices is the issue of unemployment and joblessness. Some of our young people, they don't have the wherewithal or the capacity to actually be self-dependent. They don't really have the motivation, the inspiration to actually get something done with their life and be positive about the outlook or whatever. And if you look at this critically, that actually laid foundation for almost all devices that we have around. Critically, you look at when people are actually idle and they are jobless, then every other thing will actually creep into their life because they lose focus, they don't have hope, they don't have inspiration, they don't have things. Now, back to your question, to be specific now. And the issue of unemployment is key. Then the issue around, which brought about the issue around drug abuse, and cybercrime, because at some point in southwest Nigeria, I can tell you authoritatively that Osun State happens to be one of the headquarters of the cybercrime in Osun State. I wouldn't know why. After much investigation, we realized that Osun State has stable power supply, and they have some protection. I don't know, maybe with the security, and to some extent, they felt that the internet penetration in Osun State is actually top notch. So maybe that actually influenced them to come around in Osun State. That being said, the drug abuse aspect, almost at every junction, no craning in Osun State, you see one lady or the other selling all this mixture of chemicals and so many other things. And you see young people thronging that place every now and then. Another thing is the issue of mobile prostitution, which they now call Olosho. They try to beautify it in their own lexicon, and they call it hookups and the rest. I can bet you that Osun State has had its own fair share of that trade now. Wrongs. They call it wrong. You know, that's an old school. You are not correct.
Okay.
Old school, really?
They call it hookups. They call it sort of things now. You know, you can see where people openly are now negotiating sex without any recourse to values or where we're coming from as a people, as a Yoruba person, as young people. So all these things are actually, and now the issue of sports betting. That's actually huge.
All right.
Way back then, we used to think that maybe prediction of matches is just fun. Now it's going to another level of gambling.
All right, Mr. Molly, we narrowed down some of those things. Good that we started from there. Mr. Sam, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you, please.
All right. The same question, talking about social vices affecting the young people. You are somebody that works with the youth, you work among them as well. You're a clergyman as well, and of course a life coach. So you see these things almost on a daily. You have intervened in so many of these situations. So for you, at your own end, what will you say are in a matter of priorities, what are these top 2, top 3 vices that you think are really affecting the young people?
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity to be with us this morning and to be talking about this particular topic, the youth vices. Our guest that is there, live within there, has really touched so many vices that is affecting the youth, particularly in the area of drug abuse. Drug abuse is really affecting our youth. Number 2, we talk about this Yahoo thing that is rampant. Almost every key environment, you find Yahoo boys there. You see them, they are moving up and down. Well, I think even the ownership of the thing has even wiped down, considering what the sports betting is doing. I would have put the prostitution as number 3. The sports betting is doing a lot of damages to our youth. So I would say this drug abuse, the Yahoo that we talk about, and then the sports betting has become serious issue affecting our youth. In fact, it's something that the government needs to take critical assessment on, like having NGOs to really help them in tackling this issue. Something is a menace to our society. In fact, a serious menace to our future as a country. If these vices continue, is something the government is supposed to declare state of emergency on. This Yahoo, this drug abuse, and this sports betting that is now becoming huge in our society, prostitution in our society. I think it's a really good topic to speak on this morning. Those are the 3 I will prioritize, talking from my side this morning. Thank you, sir.
All right. Mr. Molly the other time spoke passively on the predisposing factor. I'd still like to take you up, Mr. Adedeji. What would you say are the predisposing factors, the reasons that can be adduced to all these vices that we're talking about and those that possibly we won't talk about?
Okay, thank you, sir. One of the devices is what we actually know, is a peer pressure influences. One of the major factors in agent of socialization is peer pressure. Now, when we talk about peer pressure, we have someone, let me take the sport betting an example. If you find somebody that is into sport betting as a friend, you discover this person is actually eating jackpot. The person is can easily influence you. By the time you ask for 1 or 2 money and the person said, well, this is how I get my money. Let me put you through. As they JSC from person before we know it, begin to talk to a large people. And before you know it, they begin to troop into where they play the sport bet. The same thing as this drug abuse. The same thing as the Yahoo thing. That's number one, peer pressure. Very, very key to these youth vices. Number two is the state of our economy. Now, let me pick on this particular issue of sports betting and the Yahoo. This state of economy currently is enough to lure many youth into Yahoo, into sports betting, because they understand if they go and throw 1 or 2 bets, they could get the amount of money, and before you know it, they start making money through it, forgetting the fact that the people behind the sport betting are all to lose. They are there for profit. By the time they throw one, they can do a sampling of 100 people, then having for 3 people to win large amount of money. And before you know it, the 2 or 3 people will become an evangelist in quote. Begin to bring others. That's where peer pressure, peer group influences. That's where it comes in. And number three is this get rich quickly syndrome. Get rich quickly syndrome. I want to quickly make it. These days, our youth are not thinking about we want to wait for 6 years before we make it. We want to start from the scratch and build to the top. They want to start from the top and keep being at the top. So as a Yahoo that starts spending hundreds of thousands of naira, millions of naira, he does not want to come down. And before you know it, it starts getting people to make money. It starts getting people money. So get rich quickly syndrome is also a very serious thing in this thing. And also number 4, if you allow me to quickly say that, it is this issue of something that is habitual. You know, when it's about habit, when you can do something for 21 days, it becomes habitual. Permanently habitual, and this will bring about addiction. When something becomes addictive, you don't have money to eat, you go to sport betting place to play betting, and every money that is in your hand, they will collect it. So this is why our youth are into vices. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move to Mr. Omole in the studio right here. He has spoken on sports betting, and I'd like to narrow on that because it's really a big issue, not just to the youth, because we have men even who are not youths who are into big on sport betting at this time. But I'd like to ask basically now, is sports betting really that bad? You know, or is it the addiction to it that is bad?
Yeah, anyway, I want to be as I don't know, because we don't work with young people. Yeah. Most of the time, we don't try to be judgmental. We try to look at things holistically before we actually try to see how we can. And one of the things that actually takes young people off you, that they wouldn't want to listen to you, is when you get so judgmental about them. Because fine, some of us, we are adults, we are grown adults, we are not living in their time, so to speak. You know, we have had our own fair share of vices to while we were growing up, but it wasn't maybe as menacing or as bad as this. The one thing I want to say is that when you look at it critically, betting might not necessarily be something that is out of place to do. If you see where people do betting responsibly, maybe in some quarters, It's just the essence of doing is just for them to maybe to improve their income, to get better, have easy access to resources.
Or can it be
and
for
do
the love of
stuff.
the game?
So not really. Way back then, it used to be for the love of the game. People just do it for fun. Then, but right now, like Mr. Pastor Adedeji was saying, he said, over the time, gets rich quick system is one of the key things. Now, it's a function of our value system nowadays. Everything is all about material things. It's all about money. It's all about what I want to become. It's all about me. It's all about this. And those are the things we are actually pursuing. Nobody cares about anything. Nobody cares. If Mr. Femi Ojo should come into this studio to your premises tomorrow and he comes in with a very big Bugatti, people will praise him. They even say God has done wonder. Meanwhile, Femi Ojo's salary is not having any correlation with the Bugatti he just got. We worship material things. We do things we want to show off. When people say they are betting for, you might just bet for fun. You can bet for recreation. You can bet to entertain yourself, or just to ask for more, or just to talk about the club I'm passionate about. But when it's now becoming that you can't do without this, it's becoming
I wanted to ask that question. At what point does it become a problem?
Whenever you see yourself and going for it over and over again, even though you can't see any improvements in your life, you can't see something they are actually aspiring to have. Go and ask all these betting addicts. Go and ask them, you realize that their life is not that better. If you tell them that, okay, I've been doing this in the last 5 years, how much more time have you won? It might just cite just a couple of times. And he keep putting money into it. I had an experience with one Okada guy recently. You know, I was in Neori, I needed to board an Okada somewhere. The guy asked me on 2 spots, I just want to try this thing. He waited at 2 betting sites, all those kiosks. The guy had to tell me. I was not telling him, okay, I now asked question that what's actually going on. He said, jello. That I might make it, I might not make it. That person that is not, just 1 trip, that guy has stopped at 2 spots twice. So when you look at that, then look at them. It is a case, there's a clear-cut relationship between betting addiction or gambling and mental health. When you see someone that is not normal, when you see them that they are always jonesing, they are always talking about this game, this thing. Some will be telling you, they'll be sharing experience, they tell you that they get all those numbers from mad people. They get it from pastors. They get it from afar. They do all this thing randomly and they just play. That one is, in most cases, their physical one. What about the online betting? Bunch of the guys put money into it. Some of those Yahoo guys, if they are stuck in trade, when they know that they are lowing or maybe their maga is not paying there, they switch into this thing. They switch into betting. And you know that money they get too is still the same amount of money they will use to carry all these hook-up people. So you can see all these vices, they are actually interwoven. When Pastor Samarediji was saying something around possibly that is because of financial hardship that we're experiencing, I won't agree with that. Because you notice at times that somebody that is poor doesn't go to club and buy a champagne that is worth of 2.5 million naira in one night, and they blow it and they pour it on a wristwatch. That's not poverty. Somebody that is broke won't walk up and go and be driving ML or GLK that is worth close to 25, 30, or 100 million naira. That's not poverty. And a bunch of these guys, you still see their parents frying akara by the roadside. They don't even have any investments. They don't even have any things to show for it. They don't even have buildings. When they have houses, at the end of the day, they end up selling it when they are jonesing.
All right, Mr. Mole, by the way, you might have to explain that word jonesing, because I've seen you use it twice now.
He works with the youth, so he actually
of course, you know their
familiar with your terminologies.
That's why we are very happy to have you here. And by the way, if our producers can please put that video up. There was a video that just displayed on our screen. That video there, we couldn't take the audio, quite extreme. Now, But you could see on the screen these, and it was talking about virtual playing, the online.
Yeah.
These are young people who sometimes sleep and wake up at betting centers. You could see them there. You could see the sleeps on the ground, on the floor of many persons who have had their chances. And then you still see some, in spite of you seeing some that are just there dejected, some are still standing, waiting for their chance to play. And then you see the old place, people sleeping there. So you can see this person there, possibly he has lost amount of money. Why he has lost, or presumably lost amount of money, you still see some persons waiting for their time to play as well. So you could see that this thing is a deep issue, and it speaks to, and that's why we're having this conversation. Sometimes it looks like it robs some youth of their essence, of their purpose, because they see these things possibly as a shortcut to making it in life. And then you see them through this video, it doesn't look like they are making it, just like we have said as well. And before I come back to you, let me go to Mr. Sam. If actually you can see what's going on here, these are young men at betting centers. This is just a shop. We have many of them, thousands of them scattered across the country with different betting companies, of which we are not naming any of them. They are going for their business. But then with what we are seeing, this ecosystem, this one we are seeing here is a deep example of what you are seeing. You are not really having it. Some persons are losing it. Some guys are still standing, waiting to get their ticket. So what do you make of what is happening? And we are narrowing down on sport betting. Number one, Mr. Sam, is it really a bad thing? At what point does it become bad? And then are we stuck?
Okay, thank you so much. I can see all this. I can see it in the screen, and really sorry for our youth. As the live guest said the other time, it becomes addiction when you keep going. You can see what is going on the screen. These guys sat down. What are they doing? They are just waiting for their luck to, to win something. Despite look at the floor, look at papers on the floor. They can see that these people have not won anything. Look at this one sitting on the floor. He has slept. He's going to wake up again. He's going to wake up and will be telling you that in the sleep he saw back. He will now go to that thing again to play the number. He will leave this place, go on Okada, collect money from the person they carry, come back again to do it. That is when it becomes addiction. And it's taking away their money gradually. It actually becomes bad when your life is not becoming good for what you are doing. Let me start an instant. You are doing something and it's not benefiting your life, yet you kept doing it. It has gone bad. One doctor was talking, and a doctor, a medical doctor, they saw doctor smoking, and they told the doctor, "Doctor, you are smoking, and you know smokers are liable to die young." The doctor said, "It is one thing that will kill a man." Now, he knew that what he's doing will kill him, yet he kept doing it. That's an addiction. He kept doing it. It has become bad because he has resolved in his heart that it is one thing that will kill. After that is when it becomes bad. When what you are doing is not profiting anymore, and then you have a theory for it that, well, whatever happens is whatever happens. What will be, will be. That is when it becomes bad. I hope you understand now.
All right, yeah, we do. By the way, we'll come back to you. Let me come back to your Mr. Omole here. You just heard what he said. And by the way, I'd like you to start with that term, Johnson. And then what do you see by the virtue of the people? Does it, because the example you gave is the example of people that maybe they live in the trenches. I'm not sure it's only people that live in the trenches that do sport betting.
No, I didn't say that outrightly. I just made an instance.
Yeah, so somebody riding a bike.
I related it with those guys that are actually.
So does class have a part to play?
No, everybody. Sport betting has penetrated all class of society. Some people are doing it very big. They are doing it huge. They are staking millions on it. That's why I say online. They are doing it in the corner of their houses, and nobody are actually.
And by
has
the
to-
way, sorry to butt in, you could, there are some of them that come online to even give tips, to give points, to give, you know, the way they do it to young people online and say, if you can do this, of course you hit it, and then you see them living large. But this is what, so this is what they still do. Does that look like they are losing in life? I'd like you to look at that angle.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling us that all what we care about in this society, that's why we find ourselves where we are. It's all about what we see, the outlook. Image is everything to us now. I don't care if you have values, just make it. I know the new generation now, the Gen Z generation, don't care. It's what they see on the new media that they believe that's the standard to live.
So what does it mean to make it? In essence, what does it mean to make it?
Number
Can you
one-
please define that for us?
Number one thing to actually make it, one, is for you to, I know one way or the other, some of us are serving God. Be a Christian, be Babalawo, be Onisheshe, be a Muslim. Anything that actually pleases your God, that you do, that pleases who you claim you serve, that's the supernatural brain that all of us are making reference to. In Islam, they have the commandments. In Christianity, they have it. The Ishahi, they have their code of conduct. Anything you're doing that is not in line with those teaching, number one. Then another thing, anything you're doing that you know that is not making any meaningful positive impact on your immediate environment, in your society, that is all about you, and that impact is not about money. The impact is how much more people you are able to influence positively to make something positive to work in the society. But you know, when somebody comes in and dole out money, that person is a good person. Somebody that is telling you not to take drugs and is saying, oh, it talks too much. So at times when you look at it, most of these things that we see, and people will say, no, he's driving Lamborghini. People want to talk to you now. It's not about money. If they want to talk about people, but don't go to new media and see people snatching their husband. And you see the wedding that is just 1 year. There's a guy that just had issue. The PA to one of the singer now had issue in his marriage. If you look at those issues critically, it's all about material things. He said he deceived me. That he only had that wedding because he wanted to cash out. He wanted to have so much money. He wanted to get it. Then after we had the wedding, he didn't tell me that this is what we are supposed to do with that money. The main cause of that problem was all about money. So anything you do that is all about glorifying money, then you can't make any headway. So what we are saying in essence is that when you look at all this issue critically and everybody keep talking, money is good. But when you make it in a very good way, when you make it in a way that nobody, if anybody knocks at your door, you don't have to be scampering around and say, okay, if eventually if I'm caught, what will happen to me? There are still people that are making good money and they are influencing themselves. They are influencing their immediate environment in a very good way. Who cares? Like Gen Z, we say, duh, it is what it is. And that's the way we live now. We just want to live for the day. We don't care what affects the other party. So anytime, anything, we are off that radar, then we know that something is actually wrong.
All right, Mr. Omole, let's talk about possible solutions to betting. Betting is a form of gambling, and you would agree with me that it did not just start now. Back in the days of our fathers, they were gambling, different kinds of gambling, but it's just that, yeah, they call it pool. It's just that nowadays we have the proliferation of these betting sites, betting centers, and even when it's put out there that bet responsibly or people under 18 cannot bet, we still have teenagers who go to these betting centers, who bet online. But what do you think are the possible solutions, and also what can the government do to curb the menace of these vices?
What I keep telling people is that there are no one size fits all for this kind of problem. All of us were stakeholders on this issue. And number one key thing is what we need in our society is value reorientation. We need it, and all stakeholders need to be involved. The media also, thank God you are doing this at this point in time, and the religious leaders. the community leaders. Until we share that garment, we turn off the garment of we only worship material things. That's when we can make an end with. And how do we do that? It's just to go back to the roots where we're coming from. Where somebody I can walk up to Femi Ojo. I'm sorry I'm mentioning your name.
Yeah, of course, please.
Can walk up to you and say, Femi, what you did is absolutely. Maybe I'm 1 day older than Femi. And I tell Femi outrightly that what you did is absolutely wrong. Don't do it. Take correction. And Femi will say, sir, you are older than me. You must have had an experience around this. Okay, I'm sincerely sorry. I will adjust. Not when I walk up to Femi, it's my life. I live it for, it's not your life. If you are living alone in the mass, it can be your life. Well, action or inaction is affecting us positively or negatively. Until we go back to that communal living. I'm always bold to say it anywhere. I grew up in one of the remotest villages in Jeshaland, in the heart of Jeshaland, Ijeda to be precise. I went to local authority primary school. And the best value I've gotten in my life came from that place. But everything now must be glamorous. So when we have value reorientation and all those stakeholders that we are looking up to, because I don't like the idea of us pinning everything down on government. Government won't do a jack. They won't do anything. Media house, how responsible are we? You are doing this, you are putting it out there. They're in our churches, what are they preaching us? I remember way back then, that same Ijeda. If we go to church and they preach about salvation to us, we get back to, you wouldn't even want to talk to people. You wouldn't want to shake people because you'll be looking at hellfire, heaven. What will happen? When pastor now glorify material things, nobody talks about salvation again. When all what pastor can show is all about image, this is the car, if you believe in, they treat God now like magic. Pastor now has the branding system in place more than the marketing agent, more than some of this marketing agent. Yeah. So until we go that route, we might not really have the best of time. Another thing is that there should be employment, there should be this success that should be developed among young people. It's not about you getting a 9 to 5. Let people think outside the box and get job done. And all these things are very critical. Okay. Then parents too, really, the value system of the marriage, of family should be restored. All right. Not when we are fine, we don't have any problem with somebody that is a single mother, one circumstances or the other. But the way it used to be way back then, ID Kapasa said something on one podcast yesterday. He said most of the people that we have around that are causing troubles, they are from dysfunctional home. He tendered his apology because some people came for him. Yeah. Then go to people that they said just kill someone now on new media. Look at the base and the comments coming. Some people will still be shouting, no, why are you talking like this? It's all about money. When you make it, you do. So we need value orientation. We need all stakeholders' hands to be on deck. Then we can make the much needed difference in our society. All
right, thank you, Mr. I would love to add, can addiction to betting be stopped, and how can it be stopped?
No, it's not something that can just be stopped outrightly. It takes process.
What's the process?
Like number one process, like I told you, there must be a very strong regulatory body that's actually monitoring what they are doing. I know they have Nigerian Lottery Board. Are they doing enough? Are they sanctioning those people that are here? Do they have the capacity to actually monitor people and sanction them? Are they betting in a very responsible way? So those agency institutions really need to be revamped, and they really need to be. Then that comes to the issue of all stakeholders coming up and telling people, pushing it out there. Then we need counselors to actually counsel people, because it's a mental illness, and people don't just snap out of mental illness then. It takes process. It takes psychological support for them to get there. So it can be stopped, I believe strongly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omole.
All right. Sam Adedeji, are you still with us?
Of course, I'm hearing you.
All right. Let's come back to you. I'd like to still speak more. Now, let's take other verses. We'll take the sport betting team. But before we leave that, because we're still going to talk a bit about drug abuse right now, but how much of our influence does the media, does celebrities play? You talked about peer pressure earlier, but some will say the media sometimes, in a matter of advert and publicity, glorifies this. And then you see some of, especially people in sport, in entertainment, you see some of your celebs, some of your favorites advertise, of course, is business for these people. So how much of influence are these people, are these characters, you know, in promoting in a kind of way, instilling these things in unsuspecting youth?
Okay, thank you so much. We have really dealt extensively with some of these things. Now, media houses is also one key factor of agent of socialization. In fact, to be candid with you, after peer influences to pick on media houses. Now, the creation of arts, well, I did a little bit, I'm a graduate of mass communication, and then we dealt with something called criticism of advertisement. Now, one of the criticism of advertisement is that it brings about negative influences in the society. Because you see, let me take for instance, I think I'm going to mention name celeb. For example, JJ Okocha. You see JJ Okocha coming up in an advert playing bets. And JJ Okocha is like someone I idolized. I want to be like him. And I see him playing bets. That could, in a way, influence my character. That could, in a way, influence my thought. You will see me with my friends, and I'll be telling you, did you not see JJ Okocha? He is rich today because he's playing bet, not because he went to school, not because he has gone to be a professional footballer, but he's playing bet today. And you can see where he is. I also want to be like him. That alone is affecting us. That's one major part. I appreciate our guest there for what he said at the time about the roles of media. The roles of media is enormous in our society. And I'm telling you that is influenced, particularly the radio and the TV. What people see most of the time, it change their motives. What people see most of the time, direct their lives, order their steps. They want to follow what they see. They want to believe what they see. And as we have dealt something that I would have also loved to talk about is about having a legacy. When you want to create a legacy, you want to have a term in life. You know, there are things that you start doing. You create values in the society. You know, talking about this addiction to what we call now sport betting. Can we handle it? You need to have a legacy. You need to create something out of nothing, to have a name on the sand of time. When you have to tell people to start doing that, to start working on that, then you begin to see our youth from some things that is affecting their lives, some things that is affecting their being. Hello, am I?
Yes. You are with us.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so media is.
All right, let me just butt in there because I want to stick with you for some time. Mr. Molly talked about the glorification of vanities, especially profanities, and he talked about the role of family, the role of the society, and even the role of the religious centers as well. And by the way, you're a clergyman, and he gave the example of where in some places, some worship centers, that the leaders there would rather, you know, in a kind of way, give preferential treatment and make it look like it's the people that have the money bags that will be recognized in society. And you're a clergyman. Can you shed more light on that? That's a reality.
Yes. Actually, that's one of the reasons I'm not so popular among the young adults and the youth. And you know that because I speak against some of those things, and we talk more about holiness, holy living, prayer, a way of getting things done. It's actually one of the reasons why religious centers are team built is will they say about me? That's one. Number two, they tend to benefit from it. I was watching one religious center, I will not mention name, and I saw the person reading the Bible reading. Like I guess I said the other time that in Ijeda, grew in Ijeda, and they said the preach. There is no way you to church and then you begin to read Bible reading, especially in Yoruba, and you're a Yoruba boy, and it has been an addiction to you to speak in Yoruba, to read Yoruba. Now you will not read Yoruba boy, you will know that it's boy. You know that some churches now that entertain them, mention names, but I saw them in video clip. I seen the Bible reading. If you see what he was built, he built Ed, you will know that this is a Yahoo boy. And he was doing the Bible reading. All I can infer from that is the pastor in charge, or the reverend, or the shepherd in charge is benefiting from what he's bringing. So he will not speak against it. Whether give them number to go to sports betting, tell them that this is what he saw, and they will collect it, they will find, their profit, and they will bring it to him. So many centers are compromising today. In fact, these are really, really part of the problem we are facing in the society. If we call it space, many of these youth will stop what they are doing. They will actually stop it. That's one. Number two is the parents. I think I was speaking the other time. I have one of my youth. He came to me and he told me the mother actually came to the church. She brought her out of the church and she told him rather that he should not attend the church anymore. That is making doing Yahoo. Is the mother came to church to bring her out of church. He was reading.
All right, it seems having issues with the connection. We're trying to reconnect back. We have like 3-4 minutes to go, but I think this program won't end, Mr. Molly, without talking about the menace of drug abuse. I know you work with people. In fact, that's what you do. I said it earlier in the program. How big of a problem is this?
Bigger than sport betting.
It's bigger.
Yes, it's actually bigger than sport betting, because almost everywhere now you realize that it's all about, even people are, because when we talk about drug abuse, way back then we used to think about heroin, cocaine, and all those, whatever. What happened to meth now? What happened to all these local things that are concoction that people mix together? Yeah. There are some herbs you actually take that is actually as potent as cocaine. And they will put it early morning, go to all these strategic locations, even in national states. Realize then everybody just wants to be high. Everybody just wants to drink something. You see people drinking bottled water or Coke, and you take it now, you're a gunner.
So what's the predisposing factor to that?
Yeah,
is this the poverty?
It's not really poverty, because even drug abuse have been done in high places. Go to all these, you can see several, Eddie keep bugging people living in Lekki, Aja, Axis. Yeah. They are rich people, bunch of them, so-called rich people, But, they live on drugs. Fine, you can't rule out the influence of new media. You can't rule out the influence of peer pressure, like Mr. Adedeji said. You can't rule out the influence of our entertainment. Now, you are just a click away from any information you want to get all over the world. Even the information you didn't request for, you get them on Reel. Yeah. You get them on your Instagram. You get them everywhere. And they glorify all these things. Somebody wants to sing now, you see musical video is all about glorification of drugs, it's all about, and these are the things young people vibes to.
Mr. Mole, as a custom, time is of essence. Hopefully we get to have you back so that we mirror and speak on these things. Is there any hope for these things? What can we do? What should we be doing?
On the immediate, I think what we just need is just...
Because part of what we can do here as part of the media is this conversation we are having. So what can we do?
You have done your own bits. I think it's just... We are not losing hope. Like I said earlier on, all stakeholders...
Your countenance is like the opposite of what you are saying.
I know the magnitude.
It's big.
It's enormous. It's huge. So I know the magnitude. Everybody is technically drug addict now. You see one pelebe, and this introduction of Fenuja, all those small sizes in sachet that they take now, has even blown everything out of proportion. But you can just say, board an Okada early morning, you see what you'll be perceiving.
So in 15 seconds, you know, what can we do?
Yeah, number one thing is that we really need to strengthen our regulatory and law enforcement system. They don't be surprised that they might even be part of the cartel because they are getting something back in court. Then value orientation is very key. What you are doing, and let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it. Jingles, all those things. Then I think there is one area that most of us don't look critically at.
What's that?
All those areas of entertainment. There must be high-level entertainment where people, we gauge. At times when I tell you that you want to have free internet, you want to be able to click in on any site and do this, there must be regulation. Then all those guys that are making skits, all what they project now is all about body. It's all about woman bum. It's all about it's all about drugs. Nobody is regulating anything.
So the regulatory
and when you go to your reel now, I'm pretty sure by the time you spend 10 minutes, you must see like 10 skits popping up.
It's all about these things. Talking about control.
No control system in place.
All right.
And we can do this, we can achieve
all right.
it.
Do we still have Mr. Sam Adedeji with us? Okay, all right. I'm afraid this is where we hit the brakes this morning. I want to thank you, Mr. Tunde Omole, the Executive President for Ghana Youth Development Foundation. Thank you for your time. We want to say kudos for the great work you are doing with the youth. And one of these days, we'd like to bring you back, you know, to speak on other matters as well. And of course, just like I said, by the way, Sam Adedeji joined us earlier online. You know, we've lost the connection now. He's a human capacity builder, a life coach, and of course, a clergyman as well. Sam Adedeji, I want to say thank you. And we have to go home now. Femi Ojo is my name. And of course, once again, have a beautiful month for yourself. Please follow us on all our social media platforms, on X, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And of course, this program has been live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, our Western Spring Television. You can have a recap on every other of our programs on the YouTube channel, our Western Spring Television as well. Evelyn?
Yes, it's time to go home. We'll make a return on Monday, but until then, ensure to enjoy the weekend and enjoy the month of December. I am Evelyn Uhiole. Bye-bye.